Hey y'all. So if you don't know me, my name is Coach Jaleisha J. I am an inspirational speaker and author and spiritual teacher, and I help you challenge your beliefs so that you can manifest life that you desire. And I help you do this by giving you tools and resources to open up your heart space so you can live a more authentic life. And I want to come to you guys really quickly with a message that has been pressed upon me, is to honor your boundaries. Learn what your boundaries are and honor them in love. And this past year, 2022, was my boundary year. I have spent so much of my life people pleasing, wanting to make other people happy in a detriment to my own self, doing things I really didn't want to do, hanging out with people I really didn't want to hang out with, saying yes to everything, being available to everything, thinking that in essence that shows that I am a good person. Well, really what that shows is that I have no boundaries. I have no sense of knowing who I am, and I have no sense of prioritizing myself. I started my healing journey in 2019, and I thought that I was clear about boundaries, but I really hadn't dived deep into what boundaries really is, what it really stands for, what it really means. And the universe has been really, really amazing as far as showing me people who actually are really good with their boundaries. When I first met someone that actually showed me what boundaries look like, somebody that's not always available, someone that doesn't always answer texts when they don't want to, when they don't feel that their energy is not in alignment with it, someone who makes it known where they're at, someone who makes it known how they feel, someone who makes it known about their expectations, that was alarming to me. It was new to have someone in my face telling me about myself or telling me what they need in order to have a friendship or have a relationship with me. And then I realized, well, you really ain't been practicing boundaries. I've kind of been lenient on it. With spirituality, I thought I had to say yes to everybody. But come to find out, you say yes to everybody, you're not even checking in with yourself first to see if this is something you really want to do. You're not even checking in with your intuition first to see if this is in something alignment with who you are. And that was my issue last year. In the beginning of the year, I was just, even before the beginning of the year, I was just saying yes to everybody. I was collabing with everyone. I was making myself available for everybody. I was saying yes to everything. And then 3 or 4 days later, I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do that. But I already committed to it, so I got to do it now. But I feel really icky about it. I feel really gross about it. And I don't feel I am in alignment with this other person's intentions or their desires. And so what happened was God, universe, source, removed me from every situation, or those situations crumbled and failed because it was not in alignment for me. I'm dishonoring my boundaries. Having boundaries means checking in with yourself and honoring, is this something I really want to do? Do I really want to go out? Do I really want to hang out with this person? My therapist has given me clarity and said there's no in-betweens. Everything has to be decisive, yes or no. I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do this, and that's it. Or I'm not going to try, or I hope this is going to happen, or I'll try to make it, I'll try to... No, it's either yes or no, and stand on that. That's it. I'm speaking of this is because I have a family member that I love dearly that is always requesting money from me. And inherently, I feel like a part of me wants to help them because I grew up with this person. I love this person. I want to make sure they're healthy, happy. I want to make sure I can help them any way that I can. But the boundary is that I keep giving money to them, and I know they're not going to pay me back, but they keep setting the intention that they're going to pay me back. And I feel resentment now, right? I started feeling resentment towards them. Like, I know this person ain't gonna pay me back. I know he ain't gonna give my money back. I know he's not. And I know for certain I don't want to do anything that I really don't want to do. I don't want to give money expecting a payback. I don't want to give money, and I really don't want to give the money because I will have resentment. I will feel some type of way when I don't receive the money back. I only want to do what I want to do. And I don't have to owe an explanation of, do I have the money? Is the money available? Do I want to do that? I let my family member borrow some money maybe 2 months ago. And they said to me, I'll pay you back in a week. I'm going to give you back money in a week. Didn't pay me back. I haven't heard from my family member. They called me last week, and I immediately knew why they were calling, but I didn't answer. And then they just text me and asked me, said to me, I hate to always come to you about money, but can I borrow this and I'll pay you back when I get paid next week? I immediately said, no, I'm not going to be able to do that, and I won't be able to do it anymore. And it just came automatically. Like, the response was immediate. And their response was, I completely understand, you should come by the family. But that was my boundary, and I've never been able just to do that with a family member that I love so deeply. But it's important. I did it, and I didn't even have a hesitation of what they thought or what they were going to say. That's what we have to do. That's how you set boundaries. You don't even need to explain yourself. Or if you give out money, you need to stay clear. I'm letting you borrow this, and it needs to be paid by next week. And I need to hear from you next week. And if they don't pay you back, you got to learn that lesson. See, with my cousin, my family member, I have been allowing this person to, I've been placating them pretty much. I'm like, okay, he hasn't paid me back. And then I feel some type of way. I'm done feeling that way. I'm done. I am not responsible for anybody else. I'm responsible for myself. And I would say that to you guys. You are not responsible for anyone else. You are responsible for your filling your cup up and making sure you're okay. No one can do anything to you unless you allow them to. No one can drain your energy unless you give them open leeway to do that. No one can do anything unless you allow them to. Having boundaries isn't telling someone, you do this and you need to do that, and when you do this, I feel like that, so you need to stop. Having boundaries is all about self. So you make it known what your expectations, what your desires are, and you put it out there and you hold yourself to it. It is never about them. It's about, can we hold ourselves true to what we want and what our self-love and what our self-worth is. Last year when I was making myself available for everyone, like I said, the universe crumbled a lot of things. But now if someone asks me something, I said, let me get back to you. Let me review everything and I'll follow with you. Let me review my schedule. And I sit with it. And if I really don't want to do it, I let them know I'm not going to be able to do that. I can't do that right now. Well, let's re-engage in about a few months. Or no. I make it known. I'm not going to just say yes because someone asked me a question. I'm not going to be that person anymore because I value me too much. I've done this with everybody. I've done this even in relationships sometimes. I really worked on my self-love, and then I finally meet somebody I have a spiritual connection with, and I kind of like deviate a little bit on my boundary. Like, okay, let me just, give this person a little leeway. No. Because it bleeds over in everything else. If you go back on what you say you're going to do, if you dishonor yourself, it bleeds over into your friendships. It bleeds over into your business. It bleeds over into just anyone that you exist with. It just bleeds over into everything. You have to hold yourself to what you really want. And be damned if anybody else don't like it. And be damned if anybody else has a problem about it. That's how we teach other people how to come at us and treat us. I could have resentment towards my family member, or I could just stand up for myself and speak up for what I will or will not do and let them act accordingly and come at me accordingly. That don't make me a bad person. That makes me a good person who loves herself, who values herself, who honors herself. That's what boundaries do. When I'm dealing with a man, I'm very, very intentional now. I'm living intentionally. I will make my expectations known, my standards, my boundaries known, and I will hold myself accountable. If anybody doesn't show up as that person and willing, then you're not meant to be in my life. You're not meant to exist with me, coexist with my energy with me, energy exchange. You're not meant to, and that's okay. In this state, this season, where I am, I gotta have radical self-care and radical self-love. I have to love myself to the depths of anything else I could ever imagine, because that's the only way that I am going to be prosperous, that I'm going to have a life that is full of contentment and peace. I desire peace in every aspect of my life, and when I don't have peace, I am beside myself. I'm angry, I'm resentful, I am sad, I'm probably depressed, I am anxiety prone. I just need peace. There's a book that's called Set Boundaries, Found Peace, and it's by a Black therapist. And I read that book the beginning of last year. It absolutely opened my eyes because I did not know how to really speak boundaries or make it known. I did not know how to vocalize without feeling shame or guilt. And the shame and the guilt is okay at first, because when we do things that are not necessarily easy, when we start speaking up for ourselves and it's not easy, it feels like, oh God, I don't know what's gonna happen. But the more that we do it, the more easier it becomes. The more that we do it, the more it just becomes a part of us. When we don't have boundaries, we leave ourselves open and exposed for anyone and everything to come and just do whatever to us. When we don't have boundaries, we leave ourselves exposed to unnecessary pain, unnecessary havoc. I like to ask myself, where am I showing up as my true self in every situation with every person? Am I really, really being honest with myself, being honest with this person I'm dealing with? If I feel resentment towards someone, I need to check myself, because it ain't about them, it's about me. Why do I have resentment to them? What am I doing that goes against my truth? What am I doing that goes against who I am? What am I doing that goes against what I really want to do? And check that. Boundaries help us have whole relationships with other people. It helps us really have really truly loving relationships with other people. When we have our boundaries and we honor those boundaries and we honor other people's boundaries. I feel good right now. I feel no anger, no sadness, nothing against anybody. I feel really good. Getting that text from my family member and me immediately having my response and not even needing to do more than that, not to explain myself, not to give a reason why I can't do that, and not to whatever, and just say no. Man, that feels good as hell. That feels good as hell. I would just implore you guys, people pleasing, being available, saying yes, making sure everyone else is okay before you make sure you're okay, it does a disservice to your whole spiritual self, your whole being. It just leaves you so open, just so open to whatever. And you are absolutely deserving to feel fulfilled and feel loved and feel that you are honorable. And I want to say something to my single people, because I see a lot of comments all the time, or I see a lot of videos of women say, I'm not going to date anybody else, or I'm not going to deal with anybody else because these men out here or these women out here. You are putting out there your experience. You're putting out what you're afraid of, right? Really what that says to me is that you got to learn boundaries, because we should be able to trust ourselves. Boundaries help us trust ourselves and trust our intuition. So when you see someone go against what you really need for your standards, what you really set for yourself, you be like, oh, this is not for me. I need to go ahead and remove myself from this energy. When we are afraid to date or afraid to meet other people because we're afraid to be hurt, we are creating more of that energy. We are in a space of isolation, a space of fear. So you're going to have more of those experiences, fear-based experiences, situations or experiences that's going to validate that energy that you already feel within yourself. I would encourage anyone that is out here saying that they don't want to date, or they don't trust these men, or that's why they're single. Sit with yourself. Sit with yourself and ask yourself, what happened in last experience that you didn't honor yourself? What happened that you didn't honor your boundaries? What happened that you felt disrespected? And then get clear 5 things that you really, really desire in another person, characteristic traits. What is the most important thing that you need to feel seen, to feel loved, to feel valued? What are the 5 things you cannot bend on? That you cannot, if it crossed this line, there's no going back. That's your boundaries. And then you need to start speaking those things to myself. I honor myself. I honor myself. I honor my intuition. I trust myself. When someone shows me this, when someone disrespects me in this way, I honor myself and I remove myself from that energy. Don't let your past define your present. Don't let your past define your future. Don't let whatever happened to you before does not have to be continuously a cycle that is continuously to happen to you. You can choose differently. And that goes with any friendship, relationship, whatever. What happened to you before does not have to happen to you today. But if you are in a space where you cannot, you refuse to be open to new experiences, or refuse to see what's going to come for you, or you refuse to be in a state of desiring